Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Keanan Patershuk, who made a lot of noise in last 12 months in the middleweight division. Hello, Keanan. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Keanan, let's start from the fight that actually didn't happen. It was a CFFC 124. You were scheduled to fight against Dylan Dibitz, who I think it's a very good fighter, and I was quite excited about this bout, but actually it didn't happen. So if you can give some information, what was the reason that it didn't happen?
Yeah. So I got a call the morning of the fight, actually, that he had been put in the hospital with staph infection. So once you're hospitalized for something, you can't fight the night of. So it was unfortunate and disappointing to say the least. Flew across the continent to come fight and made weight. And yeah, it's a crappy thing to have happen, but unfortunately, that's the fight game. So.
And it would be a very, very interesting fight of two good prospects. And I think that the win can bring you to fight for the CFFC title, even.
Absolutely. Yeah, you bet. I am actually, I can't announce the opponent yet, but I am booked in for November 3rd with CFFC, and that's actually going to be a much, much more interesting fight.
Oh, it's great because you fought for CFFC against Christian Eccles, who I think that it was a very, very big win for you, and then you fought for A1 Combat, so you are a very, very busy fighter.
As busy as I can be, as long as I'm not hurt, I'll fight every month if I can.
And I think that your like career is quite interesting because you are 4-1 right now. You have 4 first-round finishes, including Christian Eccles, who is a very good fighter, and you have this very close loss against much more experienced fighter, Chancey Foxworth. So I think that it's like you are a really busy fighter and you don't want to waste your time.
No, sir. No, I'm a really competitive guy. I have a really hard time saying no. I'm not one of those guys who's gonna pad my record and slowly make my way there. I'll always take the hard fights. If you're not challenging yourself, you're not getting better. So.
And because you have a first round finishes, so let's say you are quite rarely fighting second on third round. And were there any additional stress fighting a Chancey Foxworth in like a second and third round?
No, not at all. My gas tank is probably my best attribute by far. No, Chauncey was a really good opportunity. It sucks the way it went, but yeah, he's a really experienced guy. Almost finished him twice in the first round. After that, it's just some really good veteran plays on his part. A lot of cage wrestling, but didn't really stay busy. Didn't land any shots and attempting submission. So, I get grinding a fight like that for a win, but at the same time, you're not gonna pull too many fans, or you know what I mean. It's not exciting to watch. It's different when you're engaging in those grappling exchanges and you're at least trying to advance position and land strikes. But yeah, I won't badmouth him. If I wish the opportunity to come around again, it'd be a much different fight this time around with a little bit more ring time under my belt. But it's okay. It's one of those times where you lose, but you learn. And it's not like it was a finish. It was a 3-round split decision. So.
Yes, and it will be always a split decision. So even if the fans will like look at the result, the split decision usually mean that it was a really, really close fight.
Right. Absolutely.
And when I checked your record on Tapology, you had your first amateur bout when you were 28. So was it the MMA like the first combat sport that you ever trained, or did you start with something else and then go to the MMA?
No, yeah, I was actually a hockey player when I was in my teens, and then kind of leading up to MMA, it was just regular life for the most part, trades and kids and the whole bit. And then, yeah, when I decided to drop into it, it was like a duck to water. It's been a really quick progression. I commit a lot more time than the average person as well. So along with being athletic, it's if you put the time in, you can get what you want.
Yes, and it's like from your first amateur fight to this point that you are fighting for this big regional promotion is less than 2 years. So it would be interesting to see what will be next, like 2 years.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'm really excited to see what the next 6 months brings. Yeah, from last, it would have been around September 2nd of last year. It's been a year of professional fighting, and yeah, it's been an absolute blast. Next week, I'm headed down to Extreme Couture in Vegas with my management team, so I'm going to try and get a lot of good rounds in there. I'm prepping for this fight, and then I'll be coming home for the remaining 3 to pound it out and prep.
And what is like the main gym that you are training usually for your training camps?
Pride Gym in Trail, British Columbia.
And do you have the fighters, the young prospects that in few years can be in the like big league?
We have a couple amateur guys who are working their way up. As for pro guys, I'm generally traveling to train with the majority of those guys, but lots of other clubs around the area. So.
And what is like when you go to the other gyms, who if you can like share, is the sparring partner that you like gain knowledge from in the best way?
The closest one would be Spokane, and Warrior Camp in Spokane, which is ran by Pablo Alfonso. Majority of the time when I go down there, it's best sparring partners are generally Terrence McKinney and Brian McDowell. And then I'm hoping when I go down to Vegas this week coming up, I'm going to be able to get worked over by a lot of big names. I'd love the ring time.
Yes, I think that the Extreme Couture and ATT is probably the two biggest gyms that the fighters are traveling to. So I think that you will get some good sparring partners and some maybe new looks from the coaches.
Absolutely, yeah.
And for now, what is the favorite part of your training, the part that you are enjoying the most?
I mean, I love it all. I love everything from the weight training to the skill side of things. I love jiu-jitsu. I love striking. There's not really one favorite part of it. It's combined. It's just I couldn't be happier doing what I'm doing. You know, like some people, and I did it for years. You wake up and you go thump away at a job for 16 hours. Who knows, right? But I'm getting paid to work out. I'm a happy guy.
And because you will have a chance to fight again for CFFC, but what in the perfect scenario, when in perfect scenario would you go to either UFC or Bellator or PFL, the like top promotions in the world?
As soon as they'll give me the opportunity, like I said, I'm always in shape. I'm always ready to go. This next fight will definitely it will turn some heads and kind of further personify the level I'm at, I suppose. So I'm excited to put on a show in November. I think I'll turn a lot of heads with it.
And even looking at your record, you are 4-1 now, but in 6 months you can be 7-1 or 8-1. So the looks from the UFC can, oh, this guy is like the guy that we need, because you finishing your fight and you are a busy guy. So I think that you would be like a very good fighter to be there.
Oh yes, sir. No, yeah, we talked about it. I'm constantly busy, and yeah, I finish fights. I'm never gonna be there in that ring to work a guy from the outside and just trying to barely edge you in points. I'm all, well, not all forward pressure, but I like to push the pace of the fight. I like action. I'm not gonna stand there in front of you and take unnecessary damage, but I'm there to finish you. I'm not there to play patty cake.
And you are right now fighting for let's say 2 years, and you have a lot of training experience. So what would you say is a toughest stylistically matchup for you?
I wouldn't say any style is more tough than the other. My game, I've kind of progressed them both at the same progression, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question. I don't think one's really harder than the other, but you know, it depends on the fighter. Specific guys take specific game plans.
And if the because UFC, I think that is like a main goal for you. And would you be interested in going to PFL, Bellator One, some other big promotion, not the regional like level, but the bigger one?
Oh, absolutely. No, all those promotions are full of top-notch fighters, like really game guys. So it's yeah, all doors are open at this point.
I think that like your style could be great either in the UFC or the other ones, but I think also the UFC is like the main organization that you can prove that you are on the highest level.
Yes, sir. Well, everyone likes a finish, right?
And if you can pick a fighter in a dream fight scenario, it's like in your dream fight, who do you like to face in the middleweight division?
Ooh, are you referring to the UFC or
Yes,
just fighting?
no, it can be a UFC or any other organization.
A dream fight. Ah, hmm. Yeah, that's a hard. Let's circle back to that at the end. I'll think on that a bit. There's a couple. If I had to pick one though, it'll be tough.
And you as the amateur fought at light heavyweight division, and in the future, do you think that you can go up to light heavyweight division in like other organization, or you prefer to stay in the middleweight division for longer time?
So I definitely prefer 185. You know, I've got my body dialed to the point where I get the body fat percentage down to right where I need it. The cut's dialed in nicely. I started off at 205, just testing the waters, kind of seeing where I'd fit the best. I'd absolutely compete at 205 again. I mean, I've got the horsepower and the stamina to compete at that weight class. You know, you do get in some taller opponents, but that doesn't really phase me too much. I've always liked going after the bigger guy, but yeah, for the most part, I'll be staying at 185.
And like going up in the divisions, it's sometimes a chance for fighters to like make their debut in the UFC, because there are fights on the short notice, let's say 7 days or something like this. So sometimes
Yeah.
it's good good to know that you can fighting up the weight, and we know that you can as the amateur. You like won a title even, so
Yeah.
I think that it can be also a kind of chance.
Oh yeah, no. If I have the opportunity down the line, I'll definitely compete in both weight classes.
And do you like to watch MMA, UFC, or any other promotions?
Oh yes, sir. Yeah, no. I watched from the time I was a young kid, and no, every weekend I'm tuning into as many cards as I can. Not only like obviously I'm a big fan of watching, but you start to pick up on a lot of little things guys are doing in each promotion. You kind of see a trend in what guys are doing, who they're picking it up from. So no, it's pleasure, but it's informative if you know what you're looking at.
And do you have a fighter that you watch and you know that he will give some kind of knowledge to your game?
I mean, yeah, there's plenty. You know, I tend to try to pay attention to my weight classes best I can, but there's so many great fighters at all different weight classes, and everyone's good at something else. So I think the more you can watch and try and emulate what the best guys in the world are doing, then yeah, it's great. It's a good step in the right direction, but obviously requires a lot of drilling.
And what do you think overall about middleweight division in the UFC? Because few weeks ago there was, I think, that very big surprise that Sean Strickland defeated Israel Adesanya. So what do you think overall about the champion and like ranked fighters?
I mean, I still think it's a really tough division. There's lots of great fighters in there, guys who do a lot of different things well. Yeah, I know a lot of people were surprised with Sean, but Personally, I love the way the guy fights. He's all forward pressure. I thought his boxing was absolutely beautiful. Izzy's such a technical guy, and he's just able to stay in his face. And yeah, no, he made a miss and planted him with some beautiful shots. So as much as so many guys will try and downplay Sean striking, but it's, as he proved, it's fast, it's crisp, it's on target. He's obviously got a good chin. So, it's everybody's beatable on any given night. So,
and I think that it's also quite interesting story because Sean Strickland was really overlooked. That anybody thought that Adesanya will fight in his next fight against Dricus du Plessis, and it was like big fight. And now it's like kind of open the doors for many fighters.
Yeah, no, like I said, anyone can be beaten on any given night, and Izzy is. I mean, look at the pedigree the man has in kickboxing and now in MMA. He's incredibly talented, but everyone has an off night. Everyone can get caught. It's that was Sean's night. He was on, and he wasn't.
And in your opinion, who should be next for Sean Strickland? Because I think that there are 3 or 4 options. What should be next for him?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough question. I mean, there's some killers underneath him. I mean, yeah, I don't know who I'd pick. I mean, how long has Bobby Knuckles been ranked the #1 contender there? I love him. I'd give the Reaper another chance. And obviously, as you were saying before there, du Plessis, is that how you pronounce his last name? There? That'd be a fun fight. It'd be a slugfest. It'd be a good one to watch.
Yes, and of course the UFC can also think about Khamzat Chimaev. If he beat Paulo Costa, it would be like also interesting, but also as far as the the noise, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he creates a lot of buzz, and I mean, there's no getting around that either. He's a very, very talented guy. Really fast, strong strikes. He's, from what I've seen with with that fight against Burns, he seems pretty durable. His grappling's incredible. So yeah, that could definitely make for a very fun fight.
And for you, what is like the best thing about being an MMA fighter?
The best thing about being an MMA fighter?
Yes.
I'm one of those people that just absolutely craves competition. Like I cannot stay away from it. Even when before I started, if I was working a 16-hour day and have to come home and still do a bunch of stuff, it wouldn't matter if it was 9 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night. There'd be at least a 2-hour workout before I go to bed, and then have to get up first thing in the morning. You know what I mean? I live to compete. I'm one of those guys that you don't even want to play cards with me. I'm ridiculous. I'm way too competitive.
Yes, and we can see even if when we can see that you are as busy as you are, that you love competition, that is fight after a fight after a fight. So it's like,
oh yeah, I just roll from one fight camp to the next. Some guys like to take a couple months off in between, which it absolutely blows my mind, because just why go through the effort of torturing yourself to try to get close to fight shape when you can just straddle that line, keep in shape, stay strong. It's just, yeah, I don't understand the mindset in that at all. I understand recovery from a recovery standpoint. If you have, you're banged up, you have injuries, but if you're going to be in the fight game, just be there, be ready to go. I don't understand like dipping your toe in and out of the pond. It's not one of those sports where you can. I find the more time fighters take off, the more you lose that grip, the more you lose that drive. You shouldn't have to. You should have to force yourself for a rest day. You know what I mean? If you need to constantly be feeling hungry.
And also the like career of MMA fighters, it's just few years or maybe more, but it's not like 20 or 25 years. So if you lose 1 year, it's quite a lot.
Yes, absolutely. No, you have to you have to stay busy. You have to stay busy. But like I said, it depends on your physical state, mental state. It all compounds. But again, that's one of those things I feel like if you take your foot off the gas pedal for too long, you start to lose it. You need to stay sharp.
And I have a also a question from dream fight, the dream scenario. Let's say that if you can pick any tool from any fighter in the world, what you would like to take and add to your current skill?
So sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yes. What tool from any fighter in the world would you like to take to your skill that you have right now?
Ooh. I mean, I wouldn't say no to Izzy's timing. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, Izzy's fighting, or you know what? I'll just take everything Volkanovski can do. That'll do. I think the man's absolutely incredible, pound for pound. I don't know if there's anyone that can truly beat that man. He's very well rounded.
Yes, it is very hard to deny him a top one place on that pound for pound list.
Yeah, he's incredible, absolutely incredible. Grappling, striking, the in between game, how he mixes everything together, and he's brilliant. His fight IQ is incredible.
And before your fights, either in training camp or just few hours to your fight, how do you deal with this stress before this important moment?
It's so I don't really get much butterflies in terms of before the fight or training. I played about 5 years of junior hockey leading up to before I got into any of this. So I played in front of a lot of big crowds. So it was a different atmosphere when I first started for sure. So it took a very little bit of adjustment, but no, if anything, there might be, a tiny bit of tentativeness as I'm getting my hands taped, and then after that, I'm dialed in the whole way. And once I get into the cage, it's so much fun, and people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that, but it is. It's just, it's the funnest place to be. It's incredible.
Yes, it's better this way than a different one that you are so scared that you don't know what to do in the cage.
No, and I couldn't imagine being like that because, when you're panicked, you're not calm, you make mistakes, you're tight. The more relaxed and, in a flow state you can be in there, the better.
And what do you like to do in your free time? Do you have any hobbies, passions, except, of course, MMA?
Yeah. I mean, I have a wife and 3 kids, so life is very, very busy outside the gym and fighting. Hobbies, besides, lifting weights more. I don't have too many. I've got a good select group of friends. I like to play pool, occasionally play video games occasionally when I have time. But other than that, it's a lot of family time. Renos, but that doesn't count as a hobby though.
Yes, if you have a wife and 3 kids, I think that is very limited, amount of time that you can spend on anything else.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's days are pretty regimented, but we still have a lot of fun.
And if you, it's also a question outside of fighting. If you have an unlimited amount of money and you can start any business, what would you like to start? In what area of life?
Separate business. Yeah, it's not something I put a lot of time into, like a lot of thought into at this point in time. But yeah, I'd have to think about that. My wife is a full-time realtor. She's very busy. So if I just had money to throw at something, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know.
And
definitely investing somewhere.
And what is for this moment the biggest challenge in your life that you have to face?
Yeah, balancing the training time with the family time. But we're pretty good at managing it. But I'd say that's definitely the biggest struggle, is just finding time for all of us to do things together in between her schedule, my schedule, and the kids' schedule. It leaves very tight pockets.
Yes, it's 5 people, so it's probably very hard to like manage all of this.
Absolutely, but we're a good team. Me and my girl, we do well.
And last question, if we can back to dream fight scenario, a fight and the fighter that you would like to face.
I mean, like I said, I'll never say no to anyone, but at the same time, I know my limits and where I have to improve. But a dream fight, once I was to make it to the UFC, I love Robert Whittaker. I'm a massive fan of the man. At the same time, it would be such a fun fight. Such a fun fight. Him, and then I don't know why I've always had a bit of a chip on my shoulder for Costa. I don't know why. I've always wanted to hit him in the face really hard. So that'd definitely be another one.
Yes, and
yeah, love Bobby Knuckles. I would relish the chance to be able to compete with him.
And then for Robert Whittaker, he's on the like top 3 fighters for like 7 or 8 years. So his longevity is like crazy one, because sometimes the fighter is in the top 5 for let's say 1 year, and he's out of the rankings. And he was a champion. He challenged after this for being a champion, and I think that he still can be a champion one more time.
Oh, I completely agree. No, he is so good, and he just keeps getting better. No, that's never a fighter you can ever count out. Absolutely not.
Okay, Keanan. So many thanks for this conversation. I hope that you will win your next fight on CFFC, and maybe next year you will be in the UFC. Maybe you will be 8-1 or something like this, and you'll make your debut in the biggest promotion in the world.